Oh, yeah. Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. Right here on Black Liberation Media. In case you didn't know, I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And we are here to bring you that boom bap breakfast. But not just me, I'm talking about us. So get on the bus, get on the train, get in the fast lane, and get down right here, man. Let me introduce you to our host with the most. We got no other than Kim Brown and Jackie Lugman.
That was a nice little ditty. Ear Doctor, what track was that?
International. That is Redman and Method Man, Miss International.
But what's the original?
Ah.
What's the original? Because that's a 70s.
Okay.
Sounds like a 70s R&B funk kind of. And I almost got it. I just can't.
I believe it's Roy Ayers.
Oh.
I believe it's Roy Ayers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just got a feeling, especially that ding, ding, ding.
Yeah,
We operate on facts, not feelings, Ear Doctor. Facts, not feelings.
You know Kim?
I have no idea. Dog. I haven't even heard the track. That's why I ask questions. When I don't know, I ask, baby.
Let's ask the musicologist. Come out, K. Franklin.
He's a what?
Of course, it's
you know,
Roy Ayers, yeah.
That was Roy Ayers, right?
Of course it is, yeah. 1974 classic, Blues on You, Blues on You, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Is this how you get presentations? You just be...
Oh, yeah, a lot of times.
You just say what sounds right. You don't actually know.
You gotta present it.
Do you? Look who the president of your country is. Do you have to know?
Exactly.
True story.
Just throw some dates in there and make it sound...
Numbers.
You got to say it with a certain amount of oomph.
That's how I win debates.
What with delivery, not substance?
No. I could get you off. I get you off your out of your mode and everything. Just start saying some crazy stuff, and you
playing Art of War games? You 48 Laws of Powers kind of games, huh?
It's you see in the courtroom, lawyers. It's not about what you say; it's how you present the case.
Is that right, Kamal?
There's a lot of truth in that. It's not about the truth is it's not about the truth, right? It's about the presentation a lot of times. As my that's the wrong one. In the chat, someone says, "Is this a penis thing?" I think sometimes, yes, it is. Yes, it is a male. Yes, I do.
No.
Yes.
No. Because it's times
allows that, right? So long as a man sounds authoritative, and so long as his delivery, he can master the delivery and not so much substance or facts or figures or anything that matter. You know what I'm saying? Men are usually believed when they are fucking full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't believe y'all, huh?
We got to
listen to women. And you don't believe it because bitches be lying. You know what I'm saying? So I get it.
Is that
exactly?
And it's worse. And it's worse when we black. It's worse when we black.
There's that.
I mean, we got a whole history proving that men, particularly white men, they don't pay no attention to facts, and white women go right along with it. A whole history of racial terrorism and lynching that white men got up in a courtroom in front of white men judges with white men juries, and they were like, them dead niggas was wrong. And everybody cheered and went home. And the white women cooked chicken dinners for their murdering men. And we actually believe that descendants of these people are in courtrooms paying attention to the truth.
Jackie, what you just say? I wasn't listening.
That's okay. I know. That's all right. That's a story of my life. That's okay. That's okay. That's why That's why when you transition, when you gonna find yourself in front of the Jesus that you didn't believe in, and he gonna be like, "What
Sanctify
you say, Jackie?
me.
What you say to my daughter? What you say?"
That's what your Jesus said. True.
I'm gonna say, sanctify me, and go back to your tombstone of resurrection.
I might do a little. What is it? What do you do right before get baptized? I might do a little baptism right before.
You don't have to get baptized.
I thought that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get baptized, and it washes away the wash away.
It's a symbolic thing, but it is the confession and the repentance of one's sins and the acceptance.
I will do that one. Right. Yes.
No, but you also, it's more to it, Kamal. You got to claim Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior.
Yeah. If I'm on the clock, I got all that down.
If I'm on the clock,
I'm on the clock.
Hang up on this man.
Exactly.
But don't wait until like before your last breath, because if you don't get to the I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior part, that's not.
It's not a time limit. You can do it right before when you're in the hospital about to go. Be like, Jesus.
I thought so too. I thought that was
the whole phrase. The whole phrase. And then
I'll give it like a week before. A week before I know something,
Yeah. And then be like, Lord,
I don't think that actually.
You don't think that works?
Call Buddha in Allah while you at it, man.
It
don't hurt. It don't hurt.
Jesus is a jealous God. I heard
God. That's his daddy. That ain't Jesus. That's his daddy.
Yeah, the God of Abraham is a jealous God. So I gotta, you gotta sneak behind the back and do like, yo, Buddha be.
That's why you can only come to God through the Son. You can only come to the Father through the Son. You can only meet God through Jesus.
Yeah, that's.
You gotta dap up Jesus first.
There's a whole lot in this faith that's
try to grease Jesus' palm to get in the gates, man.
I'm not above that either. Jesus, what you need? I mean, Jesus pimp like what you need? What you need? I got it for you. Bam, bam.
Man. So, who do you think story will go down, and who's like the next Jesus-like person? We had Malcolm, we had Martin, we had Haile Selassie, we had
but Ear Doctor, none of those people can't have come back from the dead unless you know something I don't.
Like, but I mean, I'm talking about as in messenger,
historical figure that we will revere.
But that's part of what made Jesus, y'all. He didn't. I mean, he had a good game, no doubt, but he died and was resurrected again on the third day. That's what makes Jesus. Sorry,
just gotta make. I got some magic tricks. I got you.
David Blaine.
That's what I was. I'm talking to David Blaine about
it. The closest one I know.
Y'all hilarious.
We don't need any more. We don't need any more messengers. We need people to get up off their ass and organize. We don't need any more messengers.
I'm always though in a little bit of the middle. Like when people we don't need leaders. I know the Messiah. Obviously, we don't need a Messiah. I agree with that part. But leaders.
Leaders. Yeah, leaders. Yes, we need leaders. But I mean, like another, like what Ear Doctor is talking about. Another. A so-called black leader over all the Jesus. No.
So we don't have one like right now. We can be like, okay, that's a leader. Hey, that's
depends on who you are. Like I think, for example, and this is not to bomb on Black Christians, but a lot of Black Christians really, really have a lot of reverence for their pastor, right? And they view their pastor, their bishop, whoever he is, as a leader, as a man or woman of faith, and God speaks to me through them. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on, I think, on your perspective.
I think our last leader could be Farrakhan.
Farrakhan's still here. Last time
he's gone.
I know. Did something happen to him that I don't know about?
But I'm saying
that's very controversial within. I feel like Farrakhan has a certain air, and I hearing Farrakhan speak. He is. Bam, it'll woo you.
Yes.
Even if you don't want to be wooed.
Correct.
Kind of thing. Like, so he has all the charisma and stuff like that. But I think, the nation's image, I think, was tarnished so much where it wasn't like as well, you know what? In his lifetime, Farrakhan was probably more popular than Malcolm was in his lifetime.
Million Man March.
Because it's after Malcolm's assassination that the larger Black community accepted Malcolm. Which is, people don't say. Same thing with Dr. King. At the time of Dr. King's assassination, Dr. King was like one of the most hated people in America, not just by the whites, the white liberals and conservatives, but the Black bourgeois class had a lot of hate for Martin, particularly when he started talking about the Vietnam War and poverty in mass and leaning towards left and the bourgeois Black folks, including folks from NAACP and other organizations, we're like, Malcolm, you need to shut up. But we're not involved with that, Martin, we're not involved with that, or we shouldn't be involved in that. That's not our concern. Our concern is only getting the civil rights legislation passed or whatever, or being accepted or integrated.
And despite how you feel about Farrakhan, he is the last person to get a mass movement of people in a gathering, besides anybody else. That's facts.
He's the last. I think they're the last organization to get that many people at one place at one time. However, there's been other mass mobilizations post the Million Man March, which were significant and huge. Not only a few years ago, 2020, with the anti-police brutality, like marches and demonstrations, not done by one organization, like you said, there were circumstances. But I, you know what, I would agree with you. Like they're the last one to organize it from a grassroots perspective. Like it was their initiative, right? It wasn't like some incident happened that people reacted to. They dig deep and did grassroots organizing, again, without the consent of the mainstream media or corporate media, without the consent of Black churches at the beginning.
And pre-social media.
Yeah. Before social media. Yeah. They were on the grind. Newspapers, mosques, all those old school tools, knocking on doors, and then it grew and other people joined on. And then it got so big that all of a sudden the media and Black politicians tried to start suggesting that it had nothing to do with the nation, which was crazy, right? In order to legitimize it. It was like, oh no, this is not a nation thing. This is a such and such, But Farrakhan shut that down with that. Yeah. Although that speech he gave that day, I know people don't like to hear it, wasn't the best.
So young people, who y'all got next? Go ahead, Jackie.
I mean, I agree with everything Kamau said about the mobilization of so many people by one person.
That's what I said.
And you, ear doctor, and you, ear doctor. However, as an organizer, I have to ask, and I think this is a question we need to ask of all mobilizations and demonstrations, because if that's the only thing you're doing, what are you doing, right? If there is no follow-up, no plan, no focus, no strategies, no tactics, no what's going to happen after this, in between this, what are we channeling this energy into, then, because there was quite a bit of controversy around what happened to resources, what happened to what was the what next after the Million Man March, and that left a lot of questions that weren't really answered satisfactorily. So that when it came around again with the Million Women's March, and then the just recently, right around the uprisings against racist police terrorism, the Justice or Else rally, right, which Abdus and I attended, even as we were like, man, when they come around with that bucket for that money, we ain't giving these people no money, because the last time people gave all that money, and what happened to that money? You know what I mean? So it's gathering people, mobilizing people is great. It's fine. It needs to happen sometimes. Mobilizations, demonstrations, that is how you raise awareness sometimes for issues that people don't pay any attention to, and people see how many other folks are angry and pissed off at this issue. It might have an effect, and it might cause some people to pay more attention. So I'm not poo-pooing demonstrations and mobilizations. They are a part of organizing that are necessary. However, if there's no organization, there's no organizing, there's no political education, there's no outreach, there's no statements, there's no demands, there's no nothing, there's no what are we working toward collectively as a community after this big demonstration, then it becomes, okay, what was the demonstration about? What was it for? What did it do? And I think those are the kind of questions we should be asking of ourselves in our organizing. And if we do that, and if we do more outreach and engagement among the community, I think we would have less time to be asking questions about who our next leader is going to be, looking for somebody else to come and do this, if we are the ones actually focusing on doing the work that these leaders we're looking for, we want them to do. That's just kind of how I see it. I think we need to be our own leaders, and we just need to do a better job at organizing.
I think we're tied so hard into this Messiah complex that it's going to be kind of hard to get everybody on the same page. I think maybe also if it was a family march instead of just a black man, but at the same time, when you talk about a nation of Islam, they're talking about getting the brothers right. So I think that, as Brother Jamil said in the chat room, it was about getting the fellas to get their heads right.
One of my first acts of defiance against the patriarchy, I had a relative, family member who was in the nation, and I told him I was going to the Million Man March. Well, the minister said that the sisters should stay home. I said, that's awesome that the minister said that. I'm skipping school today. Y'all see you downtown. And I went, and I didn't care. And it was some women down there. I wasn't, I was a girl, to be clear. This was 1995. This was my senior year of high school, and I skipped school because I had a car and went down to the city, me and two of my friends. And we yes, it was overwhelmingly brothers, and that was all well and good. But I certainly, even at that tender age, was not going to be told by a man that I couldn't go nowhere. So all due respect to the minister, but no, there were some defiant women down there, including myself.
We brought a woman, and I do mean that, we snuck. Like in terms of like, first we were like, wear a hat, and then afterwards just like whatever. But a sister, we were like, I was in a Malcolm X Susan win at the time, and we got into a van and went down. Or do we get in a? Yeah, I think we had to get in a van. I'm trying to remember if it was a van or a bus or whatever it was, but we went down. And I do, I mean, it was a great day in terms of the camaraderie. It was a beautiful day. It was, in my recollection, it was a really good day. And I think, again, I know my man is in the chat, whatever like that. I'm still critiquing that speech he gave. I'm just like, the numerology speech. It's like, well, you got like millions and millions of watchers. Can you put the numerology in the bag for now? That was just, my small offering. And I think there was, obviously they did some follow-up or whatever, but it never turned into, and again, I think for those of us who are already political, the idea that it was this sort of public atonement march as opposed to a overtly political march, I think that was a sense also of some controversy in terms of what could have come out of it, or what some of us would have liked to have seen come out of it.
Kamau, did they have other speakers outside of the nation?
Totally.
Oh yeah, they did.
Okay.
It was extremely broad. I mean, by the time the march happened, it was one of those things that it was so big, it was too big to ignore by, again, larger Black community and so-called leadership, politicians. I mean, so it was obvious that this march was going to gather, at the time, people were predicting at least in a minimum 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. Other estimates of actual participants were like 800,000 to 1.2, 1.5 million. So it was a hugely big march that took place, and again, as it got bigger and the media started covering it, they started covering it in a sense of like, no, this is not the nation, this is the Black community coming together for atonement, blah blah blah, and again, a downplaying of any sort of particular political demands. And again, that was the call that the folks made who were planning the march. But for some of us, again, it was like, why bring a million people there without like sort of either demands or whatever? But they did have follow-up. There was community follow-up. I think according to statistics from the nation, I mean, not from the nation, that the nation put out there, crime in the Black community fell. So-called crime in the Black community fell. There were other initiatives that supposedly came out of it. And again, Brother Jamil probably can talk much better around fathers involved in kids' lives and all that kind of stuff. So from their point of view, there was things that came out of it that were follow-up, but from points of view of other folks, there were promises made around let's get like almost forming a Black government and a secretary of this and a secretary of that. There were calls for that were made, and resources that were collected, and that kind of we never saw that blossom, to say the least, right? People started doing other marches, Million Women's March a few years later, other Million Youth March, and I went to that too when Khalil Muhammad led that in Harlem. The police raided it. It was not as big. Police gave a dead, like I think Giuliani, and they basically raided, basically took over the stage. You know what I mean?
So I have an organization question. Is it better to have because sometimes when you do, even in organizations, I would assume you got a president, you got somewhat of a leader. Is it better to have a co-op of people so that they don't cut the head off the leader and most likely think that the movement is going to stop, or is it better to have a co-op type of leadership, as in more than one person?
It depends on what kind of organization you have, what it is you're doing, and a host of other factors that are not universal across organization. Some of the things I think that should be universal across organization is not telling everybody in the public how your organization is structured and how you operate. That's I think that is something we have to stop doing.
Makes sense.
Because and I'll just use the Black Alliance for Peace as an example, because I can't speak to other organizations. I can only give you the experience that I have. The Black Alliance for Peace started out with one kind of infrastructure because it was a small formation at first. And then that joint grew fast. So some of the infrastructure had to change, had to improve. We had to scale up the infrastructure as the formation scaled up. And now we're at a different place historically and for the formation and politically, just as human beings. So our work is looking a little bit different, but it's just an escalation, I guess, or an expansion of what we were doing. But because the work has changed a little bit, we realize that we might need a different leadership structure that reflects where we want to go and the kind of people we have in our formation doing it. So even in one organization, the leadership structure may change over time as the formation changes. And that's okay, or it may not. And that is okay. It's okay. Just make sure you document everything. Make sure you have processes. and that's the best I can say. I don't think we can't apply one organization's processes and structure, whatever, to every kind of organization, because everybody doesn't focus on the same thing. Everybody's not organizing around the same thing.
All right. Before we go to break, what say you?
Can I add in real quick?
Yeah. Because
I think it's a good question. And I would only say that, I think it's important for organizations to be able to survive past if there is a founding leader or a leader, an organization that becomes very popular, but it's only popular or mostly popular because of the person who started it or who speaks for it. And again, as you noted, right, if that person is assassinated in prison, I'm talking about political organizations, do those organizations survive? And can they survive or whatever? And I think we have a history of some organizations who were led by, again, esteemed people within the community or whatever. If we think about Martins, our Malcolms, our Marcus Garvey types, but those organizations were either did not really survive or were a shell of themselves after the assassination of their leadership. And for different reasons, you have organizations like the NAACP, which again, at one point was considered public enemy number one, had some of its lower level leaders, not its national leaders, murdered, but became more acceptable and has survived. And so sometimes the question is surviving even what you want? Because sometimes organizations that are allowed to survive or do survive, there's some rationales or reasons behind it. But in all that to say, yeah, I think it's better to have leadership that is, I hate these little terms, leaderful, where it has to be able to survive the people who started it, because otherwise it's not to me, it's not a true reflection of an organization of people. It's really a reflection of one person's particular ideas on what should happen, and everybody's sort of following lockstep.
All right. Well, y'all are tuned into the Remix Morning Show. We are getting into it early, and we about to get into it some more right after this break. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show, y'all. Let's get it. me take you to a time and place. Let me take you back to 1990. That's right, with the artist The Family Stand off their album Change. And the name of this song is Ghetto Heaven. Mixed with a little bit of 1998. We're talking about with Celia Cruz off the album Mi Vida Es Cantar. The name of that song is La Vida Es Un Carnival. Yes, this is the Remix Morning Show. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare. And yes, you can donate where? At blkliberationmedia.org. We are demonetized, so your support will definitely help us make sure we keep this thing going. All right, with that said, let's get back to our crew. You know how we do right here on the Remix Morning Show.
You said that was Celia Cruz?
Celia Cruz.
Yes. Celia Anti-Castro Cruz. Okay.
Yep. Sure is.
Bandinero. That's my jam.
Ghetto Heaven was the jam. Yeah, I was. Brought it all back.
I thought that was Loose Ends at first. Like
I did too. I did at first also.
I was like, okay.
I thought it was As Long As You Live, like was to Keep Your Head to the Sky, whatever that song was.
Sounds of Blackness.
Sounds of Blackness. Yes, that's not
Optimism. That was that song.
That was a great song too. That came out around the same time as the Million Man March, by the way.
Look at that. All tied to the Million Man March. What else we got?
Or maybe a little bit.
Nobody said that.
Oh my God.
And I don't think it was tied to
similar
it.
Timeline. That's all.
Incidentally.
And let me just say, my little questions about the Million Man March, please, y'all, please, Jesus Christ, not criticizing. I'm just, millions of folks have asked those questions. I don't, like, y'all.
They be all right, Jackie. They be all right. Yeah. It's coming from different perspectives. You come from a perspective of a person that's outside. You come from a perspective of a person that does organizations. So you got different views. That's all. They be all right. Anyway, let me get out of here.
Cool.
Do the thing. Ken, do the thing.
Air Doctors, hit the button so I can do the thing.
Oh, okay. Hit the button. News time.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show, exclusively here on Black Liberation Media. Today is Thursday, April the 10th, 2025. We are so excited to be joining y'all today, this morning, each and every morning, each and every week, each and every month, as we are approaching our 4-year anniversary of the Remix Morning Show here on Black Liberation Media. I would say join us on 420, but no one's going to be here on 420. So just memorialize it. Well, as you do the rest of your 420 celebrations, some people might even call that day Easter. So as you include all of your holiday celebrations coming up, just remember Black Liberation Media in your thoughts and prayers. We certainly appreciate it. And remember us for your IRS tax refund. blkliberationmedia.org is the destination. You can also go to patreon.com/Black Liberation Media. We need money. We need to support some coinage. So anything that you can throw together for us or throw down for us, it is absolutely accepted with the deepest of gratitude. So I am joined this morning with Kamal K. Franklin, Jacqueline, Luke Mon. I am Kim Brown. The Ear Doctor is in the cut and remixes are in the chat. Shout out to all of our all-stars. What's up to all our haters? We know y'all come out too. Thank you for coming in and coming out. Please just hit the like button. I wish the dislikes. Did they still have the dislike button? Y'all can even hit the dislike button for all I give a fuck. Engage.
Oh, you know what? It's on the video after it. I'm not sure if it's on when it's live.
I'm curious how many dislikes.
Can I do some dislikes?
No.
I feel like I'm getting fried in the chat. I'm trying to ignore them. But
who's getting fried?
About my lighting. They talk about my lighting. And my
you're I mean, I can't talk about your lighting because I'd never get mine right either. So I'm literally sitting next to the window, and I'm still like, why do I look ashy? I don't understand.
You said, why do I look at it?
I can't talk about your lighting.
What's those ring things? Those ring lights that they
Yes,
pop
you
up?
don't have a ring. Have you seriously been relying on the sun to light you?
Yeah, I don't do a ring light. What that seems weird. I go have that like ring light in the background and it's shining. That's too professional. I'm like, I can't do all that. That's going to make me feel weird.
See, that's why we can't have leadership. Because ring lights.
This is why I don't like that question about leadership, because individual people be doing individual shit like this.
Do they ever?
They don't be doing nothing for the good of the collective.
That's what I'm saying, Kamau. It is in everyone's interest that you are properly lit. So please.
Yes. Come on, you light skin. We can't. You already. We can get it.
Colorism. Let's watch it.
What?
I got news stories.
Him being light skinned is a fact. That's not a besmirchment.
Chocolatey. What?
Brown, light brown, caramel.
But what about his feelings?
Okay, I'll call him caramel for now. Because I'm chocolatey. You can call me cocoa-y.
I'm kind of in between you and Kim, so I don't know what the problem is.
See, that's all right. Yeah. I don't mind. We're all delicious flavors on the chocolate spectrum. It's okay.
His feelings are hurt.
And, his feelings are not hurt. Kamau, I'm sure your family even roasted you with light skin jokes when you was a kid.
My mom did. My mom had light skin jokes. My mom.
Wait a minute, wasn't your mom?
Your mother was a deeply melanated woman. And she called you a high yellow what every day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, my mom had piss colored this. She called me all kinds of things.
Oh shit!
No, that's awful.
And it was it was the funniest. We would die. Me and my sister. You know, you like sometimes you just encourage it because you wanted to get her to say it so that you could just laugh. Go no, it was lovely. So yes, my mom cracked jokes. Yes, I was like, you slept with that white man too. She didn't care.
Damn, what?
Bring your little Manila ass over here.
Yeah, all that and more. All that and more.
I wouldn't.
I've grown up now. Inside, it's like what's the phone call? It's coming from inside the house. Inside the house, not out. The kids on the block. And I'm giving, what I'm saying. My mama did like it.
I can't comment on this because there's nothing appropriate to say.
She was prepping you, Kamau. She didn't want nothing real world. Anybody outside the house to say to you that would hurt your feelings. She said, "Nope, we're gonna make sure this young translucent boy is resolute.
Ain't nobody ever gonna roast this little clear child."
And you're right, Elon. The issue, the perspective of like someone, my mom, who would say overtly also that she had kids light skinned on purpose, because she thought that would make life easier for us in the world. And that's partly what politicized me, was like hearing things like that. It was like, what the, who does, like, what kind of world do we live in where that's a factor? And two, it's true, right? I mean, it's objectively a true statement, right? So it's not even, but that's partly what politicized me, was like hearing shit like that. It was like, what the, like, and growing up in the projects and, going 8 blocks away sometimes and seeing somebody, like richer neighborhoods, or going to Manhattan and seeing richer neighborhoods, like, what the fuck's going on in the world? So, yeah.
Well, Kamau, tell them.
Big up to all my haters.
That's right.
True that indeed. Thank you, my fellow light skin.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you. All right, let's get to some news, y'all. Let's get to some news.
Can I submit some stories for consideration? I have nothing pulled up. There are 3 stories that have caught my interest, and whichever one y'all decide to pull, I will be happy. But you can pull whatever you want first. Well, the first story is Hegseth was in Panama. The Panamanians came out in them streets, tell this nigga to beat it, but he ain't beating it. So there's that. And the other story, I want Jackie's here. That's good. The AES leadership went to Moscow. Got some good treatment in Moscow. I'd love to talk about that. And then some cracker, I know that narrows it down, but a Texas cracker, I know, again, narrowing. This prosecutor in Texas was found to be the author behind a white supremacist Twitter account where he was talking very reckless. Again, not a shock to anybody, but just a reminder. So anyway, those are my story considerations. But y'all can start wherever you want. I said. Somewhere you want to start first, Jackie?
I don't mind the Panama one.
I don't see if you can find the maybe it's on Instagram or TikTok, the video of the protest. I don't see that.
It's funny you say that because when I just started to search, I got clips of Hegseth all day,
but nothing of the protests.
I have nothing of the protests. Yes,
yeah, that's really weird. But it's good that you brought that up because apparently them protests worked. Something worked because U.S. now recognizes Panama's sovereignty over the canal. Panama says after Hegseth's little visit and the reception he got by the Panamanian people, apparently. So okay, good. This is big enough for you to see it. This was yesterday reported in Reuters. Panama said on Wednesday that the United States recognized its sovereignty over the Panama Canal, despite tough rhetoric from Washington, as the two nations announced agreements to deepen U.S. military training in the Central American nation. Now, this is the problem with Panama and their relationship with the U.S., with the Panamanian government and their relationship with the U.S., because this is now Panama, I think, had already begun accepting U.S. training for its military and all that kind of stuff. I think so now it is deepened its military relationship with the U.S. But now I guess threats of taking the Panama Canal back, I guess they'll cease now, since Washington recognizes the sovereignty of Panama. U.S.
And they fear. Oh, no, I was going to say real quickly, and they think, like you said, they feel like they're getting their way.
Right.
So there's two ports that are owned by a Hong Kong businessman, a Chinese businessman, a billionaire, that at least reported several weeks ago he was willing to sell to U.S.-based finance companies, and now so that was supposed to be the U.S. Propaganda war was that China was controlling not only the canal but ports around the canal, and they used this business person who is not necessarily a favorite of the Chinese government, to be honest. So he is, but he is wanted to agree to sell, right, so that he can make a whole bunch of money. The Chinese government, however, is trying to put a stop or interjecting in that potential sale. But I think part of what, what the story, even with the protests, is insinuating is that the United States feels like these bully tactics are, and they probably were never meant to obviously get the Panama Canal, but to assert a domination, Monroe Doctrine type domination over the canal and the ports nearby. So I think that's part of also what's coming out of the story is that they are probably going to pull back, like you said, on some of the more harsh rhetoric, because they feel like they're getting it, they're making the government turn. And we could, I think later on we could talk about some of these tariffs, but as opposed to countries, a lot of countries standing up and fighting back, a lot of them are trying to do secret deals to be like, well, don't include me in the tariffs. Don't include me in the tariffs. Mm-hmm. Now, we know that he postponed some of these tariffs because he saw how Wall Street was reacting to them. But there is a lot of capitulation happening around the world based on these bullying tactics. So,
and this is not to say that we should believe anything that comes out of this administration. I don't trust Hegseth, obviously. I don't trust Trump, but look, I don't think there is any respect for any statement that is being made, because we see what happened with the whole what's the guy who's supposed to be in charge of the Department of the Treasury or whatnot, testifying in Congress about the tariffs, and he's justifying the tariffs at the hearing, and as he is justifying the tariffs, Trump issues a tweet pausing the tariffs. He knows nothing about it, and he starts getting grilled on why don't you know about this? What is going on? So there is disunity or at least a severe lack of communication among the crazy people in this administration. So look, I'm taking all of this with a grain of salt. I am only reporting what is being reported.
Well, I gotta say that the headline about U.S. recognizes Panamanian sovereignty over the canal does not match the rhetoric that Hegseth was giving at the presser. There's clips of Hegseth all day, like looking roided out and coming off of alcoholism detox, and he's got veins popping. He's we just didn't the United States just agree to fund our defense to the tune of $1 trillion? Was that the same announcement that was made while he was down in Panama? Like it's interesting that headline and the way he was talking, them joints definitely do not match up. They do not align in tone at all.
At the end of the day, the U.S. is not going to invade Panama right now. The U.S. is going to
not going to invade Panama again.
The U.S. is going to use Panama as another extension of its military power in the region. It is going to use Panama to control those two ports and to ice China out of control of that is what this is about. It is about attacking China. It is about lessening China's influence everywhere in the world that they think China has influence. That's what this is about. So there you go.
Do you want to hear a little bit of the speech?
Yeah, because he sound unhinged. Shocker, I know, but
well, thank you very much. Phenomenal job. You and all the troops down here and throughout the hemisphere. And Father, thank you for the blessing of this pier. What a reminder that Almighty God is truly the commander of all affairs.
I hate these people,
including today, and all the
but y'all are devils.
It is great to be here at Vasco Nunez de Balboa Naval Station. This place has long played a vital role in protecting the canal. The security of the Panama Canal remains a key national interest of both the United States and Panama. In 1914, after the first ship sailed through the canal, the U.S. Secretary of War wrote, "The dream of the centuries has become a reality." And today, the Panama Canal faces ongoing threats. The United States of America will not allow communist China or any other country to threaten the canal's operation or integrity. To this end, the United States and Panama have done more in recent weeks to strengthen our defense and security cooperation than we have in decades. That includes our meeting today and announcements to come. As we speak, U.S.-based military units are involved in joint exercises, planning, and other forms of cooperation with our Panamanian partners on both the Atlantic and Pacific sides of the canal, and to our defense and security ties between our countries.
We can stop there, I guess, but it'll be more of that kind of.
Well, but so the clips that I saw being circulated have to do, he's sort of, to Jackie's point, raging on about China and the Chinese influence and China. And again, I am concerned. Let's put it this way. I mean, I hope Panama and other nations don't get invaded. But again, this imperialist sort of saber rattling around Panama, around Greenland, around Canada, even like and the announcement about the $1 trillion in defense spending, is that accurate? Can you guys confirm?
Well, the Department of Defense already gets damn near $1 trillion.
We know, but now it's like $1 trillion, not 880 whatever.
Well, let me explain. We forget that the nuclear arsenal is not under the Department of Defense. The nuclear arsenal is under the Department of Energy. So collectively, the Department of Defense and the Department of Energy with the nuclear arsenal, they already get over $1 trillion already. They just don't tell you. And then there is all of the funding that goes to the surveillance agencies. That's all. And then there's all the money that the Department of Defense loses every single year. So they're already getting far more than what they report for just the NDAA. These people are literally just telling you the truth about what they've been doing. This is not new. There's that trillion, they're already getting that. And
so I'll just read a little bit of the headline from Politico. It says Trump Hegseth promises record $1 trillion Pentagon budget. And it says surprise announcement comes as the Defense Department prepares to lay off tens of thousands of civilians. President Donald Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth pledged a first ever $1 trillion defense budget proposal on Monday, a record sum for the military. Trump doing a press event with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the upcoming budget would be in the vicinity of $1 trillion. Hegseth went further in an X post on Monday evening saying Trump is rebuilding our military and fast, coming soon, the first $1 trillion Department of Defense budget, Hegseth posted from his personal account. The number would be a significant increase over or from the $892 billion funding Congress allocated for national defense program spending this year. It also comes as the armed services seeks to cut 8% of their individual budgets and reinvest the money in so-called modernization efforts. So the reporting is that there's going to be an increase in the budget, even as they're reducing so-called civilian employees, that the budget for the Pentagon will continually go up. And it is probably one of the few areas within the government spending packages that will overtly go up, as opposed to the what seems to be the decrease in the budget for most other agencies, particularly agencies that deal with poverty and other things of that nature.
Now, granted that the Department of Education is not going to be eliminated via executive order, but rather a process of stripping it apart and making it ineffective. I mean, coincidence, America, that the Trump announces the closure of the Department of Education. Oh, and look at that, $1 trillion for the Department of Defense. You know, which one of them goofy presidents said that people that will accept security for liberty or some shit don't deserve neither?
I don't know which goofy one said it, but
I think it was Nick Jefferson, but it don't matter which one said it. One of them.
It sounds like something all the goofy ones could say.
Mm-hmm. While they were enslaving people, they wouldn't let be free. So
yeah,
100%.
I think it pulls together all the points that folks have been making. Is like this is the budget is being geared towards, and the rhetoric is being geared towards an overt war and or covert war, economic and or otherwise, against China as a main what is seen from the United States white supremacist led government as the main adversary of the United States economically, potentially politically, and potentially militarily. Now, again, this is not like something new that the Republicans themselves just made up. This was something that was started under sort of white papers written under the Obama regime to change direction of terms of where the U.S. would apply most of its defense spending, and what it was looking for in terms of its new enemies was to look at the Chinese in terms of its growth. Again, you know, Trump is white supremacy on steroids, and so they are overtly remaking, not only the potentially remaking sort of like a decoupling of the international economy in terms of globalization to one in which the United States, at least the call is, does more manufacturing. But really, I think the real call is to try to do things to stop China from becoming a powerhouse, or even more so of a powerhouse economy that challenges the United States all around the world in terms of its domination.
But how, Sway? I mean, how does
by doing what it's doing? The tariffs on all Chinese manufacturing. Remember, even if the United States, even if we think the United States is somewhat weakened, it's not as weakened as we would like, right? The United States, even with its issues with Europe, they both see China as a enemy in terms of the dominance of the European structured world order. So even with the dispute,
you're not going to freeze China out of the global trade at all. You know what I'm saying? Like China's got its tentacles and it is invested and has partnerships with too many other folks that even if the U.S. follows through on these 104% tariffs, all that means is that Americans, importers and customers are just going to be paying more. Like we're not about to stop importing stuff from China. It's just going to cost way more.
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, I think it means both. I think it means America is going to suffer, but I also think in terms of the current structure of the economic world order, China will suffer because China is an export economy. And if China is not exporting at the rates in which it was before, then the Chinese economy will suffer in some ways. So I don't think it's a complete win in terms of they can't. I agree with you, whereas they can't stop China from continually growing as an economic power. But can they do damage to the Chinese economy as the economies decouple? I think that's certainly something that they can do. But at the same time, will the U.S. also suffer from it? And I think the answer to that is definitely yes. Will U.S. consumers suffer? And the question will be, how much will the U.S. consumers, in that general sense, what will they take? Will they agree with this? Because it so-called brings back manufacturing, which again, I don't think it will do. But they'll bring pain to the Chinese economy because they'll try to shut out there's no electric Chinese cars in the United States, right? So that market is closed. And Europe is trying to close other markets for China. But I agree, like China probably I think the last stats I saw, China was such a manufacturing hub, right? It like outpaced like the next 7 or 8 countries or whatever in terms of its output, in terms of exports. But I think that is the goal. The goal is to damage the Chinese economy and to see what happens next.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the U.S. arms are too short to box with China, to be honest. And seriously, the BRICS alliance is one thing, but I think what China likely probably is going to take away from the examples of Russia and Iran having suffered under sanctions for like now decades and still managing to make their economies thrive and not necessarily be at the behest of the West, right? And still able to turn around a sanctioned situation. And I think China is far more embedded in the global trade markets than Russia or Iran could even imagine to be, right? So, and the amount of, again, partnerships, especially with countries in the global South, of the exportation of raw materials, I don't think the U.S. has thought this through because of how much raw materials that the U.S. itself imports from African countries in particular. And now you want to slap tariffs on shit that you're importing, whereas China probably not going to have to pay those tariffs for raw materials. So anyway, this is going to be bad for the U.S. I think China's going to be fine.
China is fine. And, aside from the trying to figure out what's going to happen to the Chinese economy and the Chinese government, what I do know is that the Chinese people are fine because they don't have homeless problems even in the midst of all this trade war stuff. I think we have to remember that the United States represents a very small segment of the Chinese export market. This is not the only country that the Chinese government does business with, that Chinese companies do business with, right? And I'm not even sure that the U.S. is the largest market for a lot of Chinese goods. But even if it were, because of the Chinese government, people in China are not homeless, even amidst all of this economic attacks from the U.S. government and whatnot. They don't have a homeless problem. They have a 99% home ownership rate. Education is free, healthcare free. So what is anything the U.S. government going to do to China through this tariff situation going to weaken the Chinese society? No. But the same cannot be said for this country, because the people do not have those things as it is. And this tariff war is going to make an already horrible economic situation for citizens or for people in this country much, much worse. The same cannot be said about the impact on China. So I don't know how much hurting China's economy that's going to be done through this whole tariff war, because I agree with Kim. I don't think these people thought this through at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't agree. I think the Chinese economy can be hurt because, again, literally $500 billion worth of exports come to the United States from China. And so blocking those exports will have an impact on the Chinese economy. They will have an impact on Chinese unemployment. China's already suffering through.
It's not blocking the exports, Kamal. They're just being tariffed, right? So they're not.
Yeah, they're being tariffed, but at a price in which, and they may be blocked, some of them in the future, but they're being tariffed not only in terms of their direct importation, but also their importation from third countries. And so they make them too expensive to get in, or more expensive than other goods, and other goods will take the place in terms of where people buy from, because they will be cheaper, even if those goods were more expensive than the original prices of the Chinese goods. So my only pushback is that I think the Chinese economy will be harmed, and Chinese people will be harmed. It's, you can't take away a huge export market from the ways in which the international economy works and not have that come back to the people who are making, again, whether or not you think it's whether or not we think it's right or wrong the way the economy is working. Like, some of it is state controlled, some of it is private enterprise, but ultimately the state plays a huge overt role in how the Chinese economy works. But it's not as if the Chinese economy right now is at its peak in terms of productivity. It's just coming out of some market phases in which the housing collapse in China impacted some of the ways in which consumers spend in China. So I do think, again, I think it's not like, I agree that China is not going to heal. China is not going to be put off. In fact, China, in preparation for Trump coming into office, has done more to protect its economy than it did what it felt the first time around, because it expected and has been expecting this type of economic war on it to take place. But I think China will will be economically harmed, and its people will be harmed. It won't destroy or make China again heal to the United States demands. But will it be harmed? Of course it will. I mean, in my estimation, I think yes, there's harm that's going to go around. Now, will it also damage the United States economy? I think yes, you are correct. It will damage the United States economy. But we shall see as this plays out. And speaking of something that we shall see the Air Doctor return.
That was good.
Bam.
I tried.
Segue, not transition. Right,
you didn't like my segue?
No.
Jackie put a face on, like she didn't like my segue.
No.
No. This was yesterday.
That's me not controlling this. Sorry, no.
Yesterday I called
Excuse
Jackie
this. So
transition Jackie, but it's supposed to be segue Jackie. My bad.
Isn't that messed up? I hate that my face will always give me away no matter what. Like, I'm saying all the right things. You know what I'm saying? My face is denoting none of the right things, and I'm being judged on my face. You should judge me on my words. Okay, I'm playing the game.
No poker for you, Kim.
Nope.
Same way. Same thing.
What I look like gambling. I'm a poor black woman in America. Imagine me doing something else besides playing the Mega Millions every now and again. By the way, the Mega Millions tickets, they taking them joints up to $5, y'all. Per
see.
I said, look, who can afford to play the number? Who can afford
Nobody now.
Damn. $5, huh? I never win, so. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a quick break.
You
and come
always
back
win,
right
Air Doctor. You won with Lord. You won with Jesus. You won with God. Look at you winning, shining, stunting, winning.
Talk about it. Remix Morning Show, y'all.
Hey.
What's good, everybody? Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there, and get footage that's rare. And yes, you can donate at blkliberationmedia.org. Donate. This is how we create. With your help and your support, we continue to keep this thing going. All right, you hear in the background, you hear that good sound. You seen even on the thumbnail what's going down. Who I'm going to talk about? That's right, the band with so many members, you can't even name them all. We're talking about Earth, Wind, and Fire, y'all. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Why am I talking about this? Because next week on Classical Breakdown, we will do Earth, Wind, and Fire. So make sure y'all tune into that next week at 11 a.m. Now, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Coming straight out of Chicago. You know they do jazz, R&B, soul, pop, Latin, Afro pop. They do it all. One of the biggest and best bands that sold over 90 million records worldwide. First started off with Maurice White, you know, as in being the one who started it all. He started it all with Salty Peppers. That was the name of his band he rocked out with for a minute until he got all these other people. We talk about his cousin Verdine. Then he went and got Philip Bailey and a bunch of other people. You're talking about a bunch of people in a group. I mean, we're talking about at least over 30 people in and out, interchangeable. They got like 6 Grammy Awards out of 17 nominations, American Music Awards, NAACP, Hollywood Walk of Fame, Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, Congressional Horizon Award, Kennedy Center Honors. They got it all, man. And when they first started off, you know, Maurice was rocking out with Chess Records, and he was also in the Ramsey Lewis Trio, which was a dope trio. He played the drummer, which he was in and out, and then he got with his crew and did their first albums, which was funny thing about the whole Earth, Wind, and Fire, where they got their name from. Maurice White is a Sagittarius. So the Sagittarius includes qualities of Earth, Wind, and Fire without the water. So therefore his name came from his sign. Yes. And then they had a bunch of albums. Some was platinum. And a lot of them was platinum. A lot of them went out there and shocked the world. They went from a whole genre of disco, funk, and soul. I mean, they put out albums starting back. Well, first of all, they got on the Sweet Badass soundtrack, and that kind of put them out there even more from Mario Van Peebles Pops. But yeah, like I said, they got started from 1971 all the way to 2014. That's how long they've been in the game. So if you don't know about Earth, Wind, and Fire, you need to go find out. With that said, let's get back to it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Yeah.
Gotta say, Air Doctor, I'm very much looking forward to doing the classical breakdown of Earth, Wind, and Fire, because I realized when you suggested it to me, I said, I don't really know a lot about Earth, Wind, and Fire beyond the music, beyond the songs. I didn't know where they was from. I didn't know. I knew Maurice. I know Philip Bailey. I know Verdine. But I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell you albums. Like I can't. There's a lot I don't know about Earth, Wind, and Fire. So I said, oh, this is going to be an awesome undertaking. So I appreciate you even suggesting it. But Earth, Wind, and Fire has sort of been like omnipresent in my life, almost like the elements themselves. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like ever since I've been alive. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't. They've just been there. You know what I mean? So this will be a good one next Thursday.
Yes. Yeah. We needed a whole week to make sure we got
no doubt
together. So.
Yeah, and I like that how you presented that. I mean, that was much better than the way you did Coltrane.
Oh,
you added the love that was there that you had for Earth, Wind, and Fire. Felt like you did, like you knew some things, you did some real research.
Well, you know, the thing is, I step my game up. Anytime, you know, I get called out, I don't get offended. I say, you know what? Let me step my game up, and that's what I do.
Okay.
So big up.
I'm glad you listen to me. Good.
Kamal gets offended, by the way.
Say it again.
I said Kamal gets offended. When Kamal gets called out, he doesn't step his game up. He gets offended.
Hell no. I'm throwing rocks.
That's what it is. All right. Catch y'all later.
Peace. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out with us on this Remix Thursday. It's Kim, Kamal, and Jackie and the Ear Doctor and you remixers. So we appreciate y'all joining us. Engage with the video, like, subscribe, share like you care, like a wise man once said. Where would y'all like to go next for some stories?
How about Jay-Z and his bullshit school?
Ooh. I heard about that.
Is this like Dr. Umar's school or like Kanye West school?
well, no, not like Dr. Umar's school, because that doesn't exist still.
I see. So it's a real school, not imaginary school.
It's a real school, but the funding was the part that's a lie, because A Brooklyn school backed by Jay-Z said students could graduate debt-free. Now they're buried in it. And this is one of the students, unfortunately. Justice Stevenson had recently graduated high school in Brooklyn and was questioning whether to take a gap year or enroll in college when she received a text message from an unknown number that provided her answer. I tried to reach you by phone. Rock Nation School at LIU is awarding you a full tuition scholarship. You will receive full tuition and be able to graduate without debt, read the message from LIU President Kimberly Klein. It felt too good to be true, Stevenson said, but her mother urged her to seize the opportunity to pursue what seemed to be a free degree in vocal performance. LIU was offering a Hope Scholarship, which the university says it awards to highest needs students. She became part of the class, the inaugural class in 2021 of Rock Nation School of Music, a headline-grabbing partnership between LIU Brooklyn and Jay-Z's entertainment company that promised guest lectures from stars like Jonas Brothers and Rihanna. Stevenson said, I remember being just generally conflicted about school, and then coming across this school made me feel a sense of security. It was a full scholarship immediately. It was a music school, which is iconic, and the dream, and Jay-Z is involved, all that kind of stuff. But she started noticing unexpected charges tied to her studies. In 2023, Stevenson reached out to Klein directly with questions about her scholarship. Klein texted back, I'm in DC in meetings with Congress. I'll reach out to you on Friday. Stevenson said she hasn't heard back since. Now Stevenson is preparing to graduate while also paying off $5,000 in student debt, which she negotiated down from $26,000 after arguing to LIU officials that she'd been promised a debt-free graduation. She is among at least a dozen students in the first class of Hope Scholars who said they unexpectedly owed LIU thousands of dollars despite receiving offer letters stating they'd graduate without debt. Gothamist spoke with several students who said the Rock Nation School did not live up to its promise of teaching the next generation of artists and entertainment entrepreneurs. In the program's first year, students said they created their own DIY recording studio due to lack of facilities.
Wow.
The 12 students who spoke with Gothamist shared financial records that showed they owe money ranging from $5,000 to $39,000. Y'all.
Put that sister in law school. First of all, she negotiated down from
Exactly.
$26,000 to
$5,000. Like, what kind of, those are negotiating skills?
Wrong discipline. She needs to be, she's got some skills there. Whoa. But Jay-Z's a big stinking liar. Is that what I'm hearing? And what, these scholarship students didn't have the opportunity to go to, let's say, Rock Nation recording studios in New York City. They had to jigger rig something in
their own
room.
studio.
Did you call it jigger rigging?
That was an accident too. They had to jiggle rig it. Whoa.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, at some point, it's funny. It's funny how, you know, I'm always thinking of Castro's phrase, "History will absolve me," and I don't know why that's been in my head like constantly the past couple of months. But it's funny how we have been talking about Jay-Z being a damn fraud and a capitalist tool and a POS for a minute, and people keep defending this man. We said about this stupid NFL deal. Oh, Jay-Z is playing chess. Y'all are playing checkers. You don't know. He making moves for the Black community. Okay, these are the moves this man made with your kids. Your kids. Yeah, this is what he has done for the Black community. Now, is he gonna pay that stuff off? What has he said? What? So once again, we have evidence again that Jay-Z is not doing any of this for the people. He has ripped the people off yet again. When y'all gonna stop caping for that man and his wife? When? They just keep proving that they ain't shit. and people just keep still loving them. Anyway, that's all I got.
Why does Jay-Z engage in these kinds of endeavors? I guess he fancies himself as some sort of philanthropist, as the other moneyed white men. Ha 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 ha. These are the circles in the rooms that he clearly loves to move in and prefers to move in. So is he doing this for them, for the elite gays? Is he doing this to maintain some sort of street credibility, or he's still here for the people? Because it was, this debacle, in addition to what did he set up for Marcy Projects?
Oh, the financial literacy classes, yeah.
Instead of just paying people's rent. What a dick.
Yeah.
What who is this for, Camus? What?
No, I think people nailed it. I think there's tax breaks. I think there's marketing schemes. He's not the, usually a lot of times with these celebrities, they're not really putting up their own money. There's somebody in the background putting money, and they're getting endorsement deals in a sense of attaching their name to things, and someone's paying them money to do that. And then the other folks get their money because they do things like this. So they'll rip you off as a consumer. You think you're getting something for free, but really it's not free. And so folks are reaping some reward from it. And then they put their name in, come to a ribbon cutting ceremony, and they're out. They never think about it again because they're off to the next hustle. And that's with these kind of deals, it's all about what's the next way I can eat? What's the next stream of income that I can garner? And like folks are saying, they don't care who it hurts, who gets in the way, whatever happens on the back end, unless it becomes something that's really huge and can't be ignored, they'll never come back again and address these issues themselves. So that's, again, this person who has, literally hundreds of millions, if to claim about being a billionaire at their disposal. And they can't, like you said, either have the kids go to have access to another studio or build the studio. And if they hear a story like this, they can sweep in and easily wipe away that debt. But they're off to the next hustle. It's off to what this is. And this school was probably a few years ago, right? He's off to bigger hustles like the NFL and other things again. So I think that's what it is. It's all about the endorsement deals in some ways, putting your name on something. You get the upfront cash, and then there's these other companies that handle it in the background, and they get their money through the extortion of getting people to pay for things that they don't really need, or pay for things they think they're going to get, and they don't really get it.
Yeah.
Are these just the accepted behaviors, fraudulent behaviors of so-called billionaires, right? I think about, to Jackie's point, there's a lot of people in our community that take up for Jay-Z, your doctor, and they talk about him being a
Wait a minute. Now, do you
God, you got to come on screen if you're going to be engaged. You got to engage in the whole conversation. If you're not going to just let it pass, then you got to come on screen.
Jay-Z said, do you teach them how to fish, or do you just give them fish? Do you pay their rent? Do you pay their rent, or do you teach them how to get money? It's the same thing.
Who taught him how to get money?
Right.
He just need to pay people rent.
Crack dealer.
The streets taught him how to get money.
They should get money in Marcy. They should get back on the corner. They should do like Jay-Z did.
I'm saying you just pay their rent, and then what they're gonna do next month? You gotta pay their rent.
They're gonna live,
again.
Doctor. They're gonna know that they have the security that at least there's a roof over their head for another month that they don't have to worry about.
Okay.
He should pay it for years, to be perfectly honest.
And I'm sorry, somebody who made his millions off of rapping about the crack game has no business moralizing on what people are going to use the money that he made moralizing or rapping about the crack game on. Nigga, you got rich by rapping about slinging crack in the neighborhood. Now you going to tell them people that's living in the neighborhood that you ain't going to pay their rent because you need to teach them how to, man, get up off that.
Speak to somebody with some logic here. Come out.
Jesus.
Now, would you rather me teach you how to get money, or just give you money and then if you
give me money, that means the money that I was spending on something else, I can now use for something else, right?
What?
So teaching me how to make money when I can't make money that way is also just fraudulent, right? Teaching me that I need to save money when I already know I need to save them. It's like, so what? That's not doing nothing for my pockets. So if you got the money, pay the rent for 3 months, and then the money that I was going to use to pay rent, I can now use that to do something else. Now that's the logic that goes into how you're going to teach me or help me fish or buy fish or fish and chips or whatever the fish thing is. So I don't think it's about, there's no real expectation that he's teaching them anything about how to save money. We got to know that by now. These are just courses. People either pay for the courses, they take out loans for the courses. If they don't pay for the courses outright, then there's always course number two. This is the elementary or introductory course. But if you really want to know how to make money, you got to take this other course and buy this online video and come to these classes. Right. You know, it's a whole game. You know it's a game.
Wait till I open my school.
Air Doctor, I think that your school would be far more you'd have a lot more integrity than somebody like Jay-Z. Like again, for some in America, not just America, but in the West, we seem to moralize money. We think that because someone has money, oh, he's a billionaire, he must be a great person. He must be a great, astute, acute business person. He must have earned that money. God must be blessing him. He must have, but look at the wake of battered men basically in Jay-Z's trail. We got DeHaven, we got Dame Dash, we got a list of rappers that he exploited and kicked to the curb. I mean, he's not a good dude. You know what I'm saying? And then he tries to ghetto wash himself. Or look at what I'm doing for the hood. Nigga, you ain't doing nothing for the hood. These kids got debt now after you promised them that they wouldn't. So
we won't talk about what he did when he went to Africa and helped them get clean water. We won't talk about any of the other positive things he did. We'll just talk about the negative ones. Continue.
I'd like to know what's the latest on that. And again, Air Doctor, it's like almost praising him. It's almost like praising him for being a good father. Nigga, you should be a good father. Like, nigga, you a billionaire. You should go back to Africa and help them get clean water. Like, that's what he's supposed to be doing.
Okay, so let's highlight some of the positives sometimes too, yo. That's all I'm saying.
He loves Jay-Z.
To death, obviously.
Loves that man. I think his cousin in the background or something like that. I guess his cousin or some shit.
You put him on the payroll, Hove. You got a defender out here.
And can we be clear about what Jay-Z did about in Africa? He partnered with the United Nations and was a face on this campaign to raise awareness about the need for clean water. And he donated a pump for children to play with. It's not like that man went to a country or a village in a country in Africa, used his own money to get the well dug. And no, that's not. Okay.
Has he been back since? Anybody know?
I have not heard of him going back. Well? I'm sure he's on to the next hustle, the next tax break, the next, thing that makes him look good or get some good media for 5 minutes.
So do we even
what we do need to compliment Jay-Z about is that he has stayed out of jail, unlike our other older rap heroes or whatever. So if I compliment him on, it's like at least he's done the hustle in a way in which he survived without the overt scandals as some of the other so-called luminaries from the 90s and 80s game or whatever like that.
That's right. He just stabbed That's it. Other than that, he's been good.
We forgot about the Best of Both Worlds 1 and 2 and the tour. But I see the shit that some people just overlook. No big deal. He was on tour making records with a known pedophile, and he knew he was a pedophile, by the way. No problem. We're going to get this money. Isn't that right, Jigga? But hold on, I have a question because this puts me back last week when Ajamu came on to talk about the ADOS folks, and he underscored the need for us to kind of discredit these people because they have such a grasp on the thoughts of a good many of our folks. And do we have to discredit the Black celebrity class in the same way? Like, and I appreciate you bringing up the story, Jackie, because I feel like every time we get an example of these frauds screwing over our folks, we need to remind and show the people that this is who they really are. Like, what benefits, and should we do that? Should we continue to discredit them or discredit them at all? Or is it, why you want to tear brother down? Blah, blah, blah. What do y'all think?
Yes. Yeah, we have to. Because I mean, if the use of celebrity to impact the way we move, the way we respond to this system, that's why we have to call them out. Because while we are calling out the primary contradiction, which is capitalism, if we've got Black celebrities, who are the agents of that capitalist message in our communities, telling us, yes, this is a legitimate way. This is a legitimate. Yeah, you should support or want to be involved in this system where, you know, you have to work 3 jobs in order to make a living. And if you're not exceptional at something, then you're just going to have to struggle and suffer. And that's just how it is. And you should just get used to it. If you're not talented like me, then of course you're going to struggle and suffer. So I am the one who can legitimately show you how to get to my level, knowing damn well how they got to that level was they were chosen by the system for their unique and special talent that the system could profit off of. And all they're doing is selling us the lie of meritocracy while they're being used by the system. So you've got Black celebrities who are helping the system exploit us. So yes, we need to call them out. They are our enemies, even if they don't understand that they're being used by the system. And it's never going to be popular. People are always going to hate it because, I mean, who wants to tear Black people down? Nobody wants to do that. But just because Harvey Weinstein got away with raping people for as long as he did, it does not mean that we don't talk about Bill Cosby's raping ass.
Yeah, or the comparison is, well, so-and-so got away. It was like, what does that supposed to mean to? And that's we're so captured by the Black entertainment class, the Black bourgeois class, the Black misleadership class, the few Black entrepreneurial class. That is what, again, that's the propaganda that's been put out there. Our folks have been captured for it. So yeah, it is our duty to try to figure out ways to basically tear that statue down. I was at this conference, which I couldn't even take going to the conference for a long period of time, which was it was called, well, I shouldn't say what the name was out of respect to some of the people who went.
Name and change.
But it was a black philanthropy conference. And so it was just so middle class in terms of the attitudes, and even during this era, what's taking place in the world or whatever like that. It was more Black entrepreneurship talk. So it's the capturing of the mind around what makes us liberated or free, or what we should strive to be like, which has to constantly be. And there's going to be a lot of slings and arrows for that. So I definitely think, you got to continue to bring up these examples, figure out ways to pull people away from thinking that that's your life mission and goal, or that somehow is going to get you success. And most of the time it's not. And like Jackie said, I mean, some of these folks, they got Horatio Alger stories of pulling themselves up or whatever, but they never had no politics. And that's why they're so easily swayed to do the things that they do, because it's all about the profiteering motive, right? It's about, I got money, then I'm going to show you how you can get money. And the next one can get money. And it's like, we all can't be rappers, my man. We all not going to work in the music industry. So yes, maybe you did have some specialized individual talent that made you rich, but it's not something that's like a cure for all for Black oppression, right? It's not a cure for all for getting Black people resources and community, and it's not a way in which you build out of poverty. You got to challenge the system that is oppressing us in the first place, and these folks keep us away from challenging that system into thinking that system works just because they, as an individual few, made some resources out of it. So we got to challenge it and continue challenging it like never before.
So I'm solution oriented.
Oh, so you are. Okay.
Yes. So I look at it like, okay, these people, say Jigga, have a platform. All right. Like Jackie said, some of them might be ignorant. Let's call out and tear down the system and not tear down the pawn or the man or the woman that's out here with a platform that might be ignorant, that we could possibly pull to the side and be like, yo, your politics ain't right. Let's see if we could do it this way, instead of throwing them to the side, even though they might be ignorant to what's going on, not giving them a chance. You throw them out to the side. They're cannon fodder. I just wanted to use that. But but the fact that they're used and being used and might not know it, that don't mean we should throw them out. This is still our people. This is still our people that we know are ignorant, and we know we need to bring them in and use their platform to promote the right thing. We should not kick them out and like that.
Here's my thing. I want Jackie to answer, but let me say this real quick. My issue with Jay-Z is only in part about his political ignorance. My biggest issue with him, and I say this as a person who's a longtime fan of his art, supported his music, been to a lot of his shows, etc. The fact that this man can so easily coalesce and make relationships with known sexual abusers. Harvey Weinstein is right up there. Jay-Z had a film partnership with Harvey Weinstein. They produced the Richard Pryor biopic that we're probably never going to see, starring Mike Epps. And part of the reason we're never going to see that movie is because Harvey Weinstein is in jail and Jay-Z wants to try to distance himself away from that partnership. He also made not one, 2 albums with R. Kelly after it was known in the industry. Jay-Z can absolutely not claim ignorance that he did not know what R. Kelly was up to. He made 2 albums with him, 2 tours, okay? And Diddy is his boy, is his best friend. So I'm judging him by the company that he keeps. I can only assume that birds of a feather flock together. If you running with the sexual abusers and the predators and the rapists, then maybe you yourself are one. And if you're not one, at minimum, you don't seem to have a problem associating with those people. That is what bothers me above all when it comes to Jay-Z. But please, Jackie, I wanted you to answer.
Yeah, I wasn't coalescing anyway.
Nigga, shut up. Dear doctor, if I found out that a lot of your boys was fucking dirt bags, I'm looking at you, my nigga. I'm looking at you sideways. Like, why is this your crew? why are all your friends dirt bags? Why are all your business associates dirt bags?
Disregard the message, but concentrate on the messenger.
What message, my nigga? The message is that they don't give a fuck about women and girls, and black women and girls in particular. But I'm sorry, I'll be quiet.
How long are we gonna let these people be? How long are we gonna use the excuse that they don't know? Especially since Jay-Z was directly confronted by the people about his shitty politics during the whole Colin Kaepernick era. And what was his response? We're beyond kneeling. That's what it is. So we're not talking about a situation where Jay-Z doesn't know, where Beyonce doesn't know. These people have been confronted directly. Beyonce was confronted directly about performing a show in Israel. She was confronted directly about, and she did it in it, screening a movie or whatever the hell it was. These people have been told about the way they are complicit in not just general capitalism, right? Because people are not pissed off enough about how these people just love ripping people off with these crazy ass high ticket prices and all this kind of stuff. Okay, fine. People don't want to deal with that. All right. But we're talking about human rights abuses, people being murdered by the system, by the state. And these folks' response to these issues being brought directly to them with people saying, why aren't you all speaking out about this more? Because you have the platform you do. And we see what their response has been, to double down in support of the system. So no, these people are not ignorant of their role in this system. They willingly do the bidding of the people who sign their checks, period.
And did Jay-Z tell us, like, he used to rap like
Talib.
He used to try to rap like Common Sense, but I sold 3 mil. I ain't been rapping like Common Sense.
They be telling us.
Yeah, so he knows what he's doing.
Telling the truth, and we just be not. We don't be believing them.
But I agree that we should work. I mean, there's a history, of course, of people working with artists of various stripes to help those artists with their politics or whatever. But there are also artists who have, as stated, that they've made their bed, and until they decide or until something happens or they hear something that they will respond to in a positive light, then you got no choice but to continue to call folks out. Like, and so, you know, again, if Jay-Z was some young up and coming artist who expressed some sort of political integrity about something, then maybe that is somebody that you reach out to, or hopefully that person reaches out to you and they try to do some good things. But I mean, we're way past that point with a lot of black artists. And again, we are awash in celebrity culture. We are awash in the propaganda of black entrepreneurship as a savior to our community. And so most of these folks are there, you know, the overwhelming majority are not being pulled back, right? They're not coming back. And so we have to focus on the masses, not the rich folks, but the masses of people to get them off that drug. How do we get them off that drug? And it's not going to be spending all our time saying, please, let's get these rich people to stop doing the things that they're doing. It's like, how do we get the folks who they are impacting to stop listening to them as the source of intellectual knowledge or whatever? How do we get those folks captured? Right.
All right. All skin folk and kin folk. I get it. Later.
And look, this is not to say I don't listen to Jay-Z. I don't care. I don't. The music, the art is not the issue. Listen to Beyonce, fine, but stop holding them up as leaders of the struggle for liberation, because they're not trying to be liberated from capitalism. Capitalism is working fine for them, and they are not concerned that capitalism is not working fine for us. So,
and to Malcolm's point, show me in the white community. Well, I guess Kid Rock could be that person. Never mind, shut up. But show me in the white community.
You're not wrong. Finish your statement.
Where the white rapper is expected, to lead the people. Come on, like these are entertainers, ball players, poets. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right?
No, that is the thing. Is our community is so there's such a dearth of leadership and again, effective political organizing, that we are sort of easily led astray into thinking like, again, everybody should have an opinion. Doesn't mean every opinion needs to be listened to or taken to be fact or to be followed. And it's not just that they have opinions. And again, this is what folks are alluding to. It's purposeful that's who we look towards, right? It's not some accident that if some rapper, some comic, or somebody says something, whether it's good or not, but whatever they say gets lifted up as if that's okay. Let's have a discussion about that this week, because that's what the newspapers are lifting up, and everybody's having these back and forth discussions on what that person said, and then that person makes a follow up, or somebody there's some back and forth around what that person said versus what somebody else said. That's what gets lifted up for the things that we are supposed to have conversations about, that we're supposed to be vibing on, whether like these days it's through social media, podcasts, and corporate media. But those are the things that lift us, that get lifted up, and then we are the ones in the let's chop it up around what they said kind of thing. We spend all our time doing that. So we got to call them out, not necessarily to engage in those back and forth discussions around what they said and the content, even the content of what they said, but it's more about why are they being offered to us as people who have these high-minded ideas about which way forward, when they've done no study, they've done no organizing, they've done no work in the community. They're just spewing off the top of their heads because they got money. And like all rich people, the dumbest one in the world, Trump, because they got money, they think that somehow their opinion is fact, or that it should be listened to.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest issue for me when I talk about celebrity, which is I don't like talking about celebrity all that much, because people do get very emotional and just kind of unreasonable, because they think that you are people act like you are talking bad about their mama when you talk about their favorite artist, and I'm like, yo, I am just commenting on the crazy thing, this person that you don't know, but you listen to everything they say and you let what they say influence how you think. I'm just telling you that they're lying to you. The problem I have with this whole obsession with celebrity that we have is that we know everything about what our favorite celebrities do and say, but we don't know anything about what politicians that allegedly represent us do and say, that actually do impact everything about our lives. Like, we don't know anything about if we live in a district where a member of the Congressional Black Caucus allegedly represents us. You know about what Jay-Z says and does. You know about what Beyonce says and does, but you don't know what your CDC supposed elected representative, you don't know how they vote on issues that are going on in your neighborhood. That's the issue. That is the problem with celebrity culture, because the opinions and the words and the actions of celebrities who have no impact on politics. Their impact on politics is to get people to ignore actual politics. That's my problem. with the obsession with celebrity, that it is a distraction from the issues that we really need to be paying a lot more attention to, that have nothing to do with entertainment whatsoever.
So this goes all back onto the system, the media that promotes our leaders and tells us this is who we should be listening to. If I'm an entertainer and I'm doing something wrong, if you come at me and be like, you messing up here, doctor, you doing it wrong, I'm closing my ears. I ain't listening to you. But if you come to me and be like, yo, the system is using you like this, then I'll be like, okay, I'll listen to what you got to say. But as long as we continue to point our fingers straight at the entertainer, do they ever get changed around? Do they ever get, to fix what they done wrong? I'm just saying, as organization, as coming together as a people, how do we do it? Do we do it that way, or do we continue to point at somebody and they'll be like, oh, word, you coming at me, instead of coming at the problem, which is the system?
But you do agree, after if you attempted to come to, and Jay-Z has had political mentors. So again, he was in contact with people back in the day, like Dream Hampton and other folks who were political, who tried to persuade him to do more political things. And in the background, he went to Cuba. He's done some other. So again, it's not like he is just somebody who has not been exposed to the world and how the world works. He's chosen sides. And so after a while, even people who are having these, and again, I don't think that you're necessarily wrong in terms of how do we persuade certain people who have influence over our people. But I also think there becomes a demarcation line where, one, all of your time is not meant to be persuading famous celebrities and trying to get them to do something for you that you should be doing yourself if you're an organizer, which means to be engaging with people on a day-to-day basis to bring them to politics. Thinking that you could just awash yourself in somebody else's or tell them to tweet something or to say something that's going to somehow do your work for you. But two, more importantly, if that person has already chosen a side, why are you still defending that person? That person has read or has seen or has done or has spoken to. At some point, you also got to be like, this person has chosen a side, and they will be treated as a part of the system, as opposed to somebody who is just strictly being used by the system. They are now a part of that system.
I can see that. All right.
You gonna do a break? I gotta do that.
Yeah, I figured y'all did. All right. So with that said, let's take a quick break as we break it down right here on no other than a Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Down. There's a whole lot of something going round. Hey, we got the funk right here on the Remix Morning Show. You better believe it, baby. That boom bap breakfast with a little bit of funk added to it. All right. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare, and donate at blkliberationmedia.org. We got our t-shirts coming back out soon, so get ready for that, y'all. You can get your merch coming back. The Black Liberation Media merch is coming back, so get ready. I'm going to have to do some more commercials and all that. All right, I was checking out a little bit of George Clinton. I was just like, you know what? Let me play something that's going to make the people feel good today. So I found a clip and I said, hey, sometimes we as elders don't understand the use music. But I got to see an elder that did understand the use music and was spitting it line for line. Who am I talking about? No other than George Clinton. So check this out with a little bit of Rakim going on here.
VFI freestyle, Lip Fury. My third eye make me shine like jury. You're just a real rap. Your rhymes a minute made. I'll be here when they fade. To watch you flip like a renegade. I can't wait to break and eliminate every shade of the snake. Stay away. Follow, because the temple is a trail. The stage is a cage. The mic is a third rail. Rakim, a fiend of a microphone. I'm not him. So leave my mic alone soon as the beat is filled. I'm getting to go. Fasten your seatbelt, cause I'm about to flow. No need to speed. Slow down and let the leader lead. Word to daddy. Indeed, the odds are rolling stones, so I throw records are chosen, the rhymes are stoked. Stop bugging, the brother said dig him, I never dug him, couldn't follow the lead long enough, so I drug him. This is a change of tone, he should arrange his own face in space, taking taste and change the tone. One R in the alphabet, it's a one-letter word, and it's about to get more complex from one rhyme to the next. Eric B.B. easy on the flex.
Ooh, you boy George was spitting them rhymes, yo. And that is a dope thing to be able to see another generation rocking out with the younger generation. Let's continue to make that happen. We might not understand everything they're talking about in their music, but we got to figure out how we can connect and build this bridge. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning crew right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
We gotta have the funk. How we want the funk. Give us the funk.
Yeah.
Dare I say that both of those generations are elders, Rakim and George Clinton. Talking about the younger generation. I ain't seen no younger. Who younger?
I was about to say, wait a minute, ain't Rakim like damn near 50?
Yeah, Rakim was gotta be at least 50 something.
The music genres was 20 years apart then. Well, okay, maybe.
Yeah, George Clinton got to be in his 70s, right?
George Clinton is 80 plus.
He's 80 plus?
Yes. He's definitely at least 80.
Yeah. That's like the 70s.
That's a 20-year difference. Like, be able to spit something 20 years ago. Well, I guess y'all could do
20 years ago. That song is 40 or 50 years old.
I'm talking about
like
the age of
the difference between
when Rakim came out and when George and Parliament was out.
So 40 and 20?
Yeah, that's a 20-year difference probably, because that song was probably in the 80s or early 90s.
85,
70s, 85, 75.
Right, yeah, I see.
That's like that's like 15 years. Yeah.
Like Tear the Roof Off came out mid to late 70s, right?
So, well, what do I know? Anyway, it was just good to see George Clinton being able to spit bars.
That was the part of the clip that was exciting. Yeah, just to see George Clinton. No analysis needed. Yeah.
No analysis. It's just good entertainers.
Yeah, good celebrity culture. There you go.
He was a good entertainer, right? He ain't do nothing wrong.
George Clinton? Well, we don't know. Well, I'm sure.
It depends on.
We ready to tear him down?
Well, we have
tearing down.
I love George Clinton.
I mean, look, people do what they
parties.
do. I mean, people do what they do. What are we supposed to
imagine what George Clinton parties were like?
There's a documentary about that.
There is?
Yes.
Oh, is it?
Them Bamas was high on everything they could get to be high on. And Clinton was the one, George Clinton was the one who was providing the drugs.
Oh, I believe that too. I believe that. Yeah.
Yes.
And the whole story about the mothership. George Clinton and Bootsy Collins believe that they saw a UFO together.
And now you know the trip was real good when the two of you was tripping and y'all ain't the same person. There really were two of you and y'all were tripping together and you saw the same hallucination. That's some damn good drugs. But yeah, I can't remember it. I'm gonna have to look it up. But it's kind of old.
And Sly is still around too, right? Sly's still around. Yeah.
No, wait a minute. Yeah, I think so.
Listen, gang, I think George Clinton does still tour. If you have an opportunity to go see him, please go see him. Go see all your favorites, even if your favorite is 45 years old. Capitalism is taking niggas out left and right. Go see your favorites today. Well, so long as they're not charging $600 a ticket, but reasonable admission. Go check out and support your faves while they're here. Yo,
I agree. I agree. I agree.
I want to go see Billy Joel. God damn it! And Sting is fucking up the bill. I want to see Billy Joel at Nats Park so bad.
I took Abdus 1 year for his birthday to see Billy Joel because that man loved Barry Manilow and Billy Joel. And when I found out, I was like, "And I married you? You didn't tell me before." You kept this for, oh my God, I come home
and he's playing Mandy.
He be in the kitchen just to.
Her name was Lola.
Lola Falana. Everybody remembers that song now.
And I couldn't be mad because he was in there cooking. But I'm like, But no, I took him to see Barry Manilow at Nats Park for his birthday 1 year. Woo, that man. He was so happy. He was so happy. He had to turn around and kiss me like 89 times. Oh, thank you, baby. Thank you. I love you so much. Then he's singing the damn Billy Joel song, and I'm just like, can this please be over soon?
I like Billy Joel, but not enough to pay for a contract. Like, I don't like him like that. It's like if a song comes on, it's like, oh, that was a good song. But it's never like I want to go see Billy Joel in
I want to
concert.
go see Billy Joel because he's singer songwriter, like, and Billy Joel ain't standing up from that motherfucking piano. You understand? Like he gonna bang that joint for 2 hours.
He got up from the piano one time. He literally had a fly swatter because it was summer, so there were mosquitoes and flies. So he got up from the piano with a fly swatter and
come out. There will be no Billy Joel slander. Billy Joel is the icon. Stop playing. Let's put him where Sade need to be too. Stop playing.
Billy Joel. I mean, Billy Joel even do like what's your top 2 Billy Joel? I mean, what's he been like?
So we've got
like background songs.
Moving out. We've got I love The Stranger. The Stranger is my favorite.
Please don't sing them. Please don't sing them. Oh my God.
Uptown Girl. That's quality. The Stranger. The Stranger is my shit. The Stranger is what a jam. Fucking come out. You have to go listen to The Stranger after the show.
I've listened to Billy Joel. I'm just saying though, I just not enough to be like.
Oh God.
That's not one of my favorites.
What? That is the joint right. Come on, man.
That's not amongst my faves. That was
not amongst your faves.
Come on, we don't have to do that.
Don't ask me why.
White Liberation Media? What's going on? Oh my God.
Must be crazy.
I'm telling you.
Must have been.
The New York
It's
song,
still rock and roll to me.
No,
I like them. Just not enough to
the
pay the money
only
to go
Billy
see
Joel song I actually like is "We Didn't Start the Fire."
That's the only one you like?
It really is.
I like Billy Joel song.
It really is. I've never
What
been.
about that?
It's not like I don't dislike his music. It's just like I don't pay any attention to it. I hear it and it's like there it is.
What about that doo-wop that for the longest time? Oh, yeah, see, you know, come
I
out.
know all of his hits.
Come
I just
on,
would not
man.
pay money to go see Billy Joel.
Just the way you are.
Oh,
I
God,
can just go. I can keep going. Wait till he come to Atlanta. I'm there.
Oh yeah.
And he like 80 years old too. How was Billy Joel?
He's very chunky. He's very
and he's very
and
he's happy in his chunkiness.
He is very comfortable in his later years. He's like, fuck it, I'm Billy Joel, and I'm
no Maggie, you're late. We had news already. No,
the time for news is past.
That's right. We entertainment news now.
I wanted to see him at the Madison Square Garden residency. Like I thought that would have been like one of the most New York experiences ever to go see Billy Joel at the Garden while he's doing this residency. And the residency ended, and then he went on tour. And the tour came to Baltimore. It was Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks. I said, ooh. But guess what? The nosebleed, the 400 level seats was like $500. I said, not today, Satan. No, sir.
Now, I wish I had seen Fleetwood Mac. Because I have always loved Fleetwood Mac. I've always loved them. And then just love Stevie Nicks and the whole spooky aesthetic. I loved it. Loved it.
Much. Never for person. Again, when it comes on the radio, I might not turn it. I'm not about to go to a show. Yeah. Somebody said Phil Collins is better than Billy Joel.
No.
As someone who has seen Phil Collins and Genesis in concert. See, I didn't feel it his day. Phil was hobbled when I saw Phil. The name of the tour was I'm Not Dead Yet tour. Just to give you an indication.
There you go.
Of Phil's level of health during that tour.
In the title right there.
And it was a little struggle city. I'm not gonna front, but I love Phil Collins. Like where's the panties? Let me slingshot Phil Collins at 73 years old. Let me slingshot him to drawers today. I love Phil Collins. Love. Yeah, but I'm gonna give the edge to Billy Joel, even though I haven't seen him yet. But
the only white people I would see is Billy Joel and Hall and Oates.
That's right.
Hall and Oates.
I would. If Hall and Oates were touring, I would go. Yep.
What about Sting if he's doing also the Police and Sting together stuff?
I like he would have to be doing the Police stuff.
Have to be. Yeah.
I can't take Sting all by himself.
Well, he wrote most of the Police stuff anyway, right? That's his music. Yeah. I put Sting above Billy Joel, like musically, like with the Police included.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. With the Police included. You gotta
go get help.
Who got to get?
Yeah, you got to go get Genesis. I mean, Billy.
You know who I would see too, though? Journey.
They got
What's the dude?
song.
Steve Perry.
Steve Perry, who I don't think he would ever. I'm not sure. Did they ever make up?
I don't think they.
I don't know if they ever
I think they're
did.
one of the fighting people. The group
Yeah,
that fought.
but I would. Yeah, I rock with Journey.
Journey got one song people would
What
know.
you what? What did
Journey?
you say?
I agree. Like I don't know. I only know 3 songs. Again, not being an aficionado of the music, I only know like 2 or 3 songs. Some
And
old Sherry shit. Oh Sherry, right?
Oh, come on. I'm thinking a Wheel in the Sky is my
Ooh,
like,
Plain Reaction.
in separate ways. Oh,
Ooh,
breakup song ever. We going on separate ways.
Don't know what that is.
Troubled Child, Lord him.
Mm-mm.
That's just right now. Okay, I'm sorry.
Lights go down
In the city.
For all our younger viewers, this is the auntie uncle session.
Ooh, I want
See, I just assumed everybody was from DC, Maryland. When,
That's what y'all sound like right now.
when the sun shines on the bay, I said, "Oh, they must be from Baltimore." They're not from Baltimore.
That's not the bay they meant.
Oh my,
Wrong bay.
David Silberg. So there's like 3 Ambrosia songs that I'm like, anytime it comes on the radio, I turn that shit up too.
Yeah.
The what now?
Ambrosia? Is that their name?
Oh, okay.
That's how much. Yeah, that's how much. And
That's
it's like, There's like 2 of them. 2 of them.
Yeah, that's
I would
dig
never
this.
pay money to see them. Yes. Never.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, that shit is snapping right there.
That's what 70s and early 80s, right before the hair bands took over. 70s arena rock was actually pretty great. I mean, for rock fans, I understand that's not a universal, and that's partially how I got into Fleetwood Mac so much. It was the I think it was the album Tusk, where they came out with the USC marching band. That was like the video, the first video, I think, of debuting the album. When the album came out, they had the whole making of the video, and then they released the video for the album first, then they released the video for the making of the video. And I really dig that kind of weird back,
It's all yacht rock for me now. It all kind of sounds like it's yacht rock.
Would you go see Madonna?
It is. It's all called yacht rock now.
Mm-hmm.
Would you go see Madonna?
Who?
In concert?
Yeah.
No, I was never a big Madonna fan when she was big. It was like I liked as anybody. There were some songs that were catchy, but never big. Like
Lucky Star,
Madonna.
Get Into the Groove.
I would go
Papa
see
Don't
Madonna. I would
Preach.
pay to go
You
see
wouldn't pay.
Madonna.
If you had a free
I feel
ticket,
you on that.
wouldn't
I feel
you?
you on that. I wouldn't pay. I would if
Someone
somebody gave me a ticket. I would
Madonna.
go.
I'd go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not paying to see Madonna.
Oh, somebody just said we need a Great Whites classical breakdown. That would
No.
be
I have a
Best
fundamental
Whites.
objection to that.
No,
Why?
Blue
That's
Eye
white.
Soul. Blue Eye Soul.
Then they can do that shit on the white people's channel, not on Black social media.
one edition of the best whites.
Okay.
The best whites kind of like classical
I love
breakdown.
white people's music. Y'all know this. I love white people's music. They do not belong on this platform.
I feel it. I believe it or not. I
What
agree.
if we call it the Culture Vulture series? Would
No.
Would
No.
it be? Would it be? It could go that way though, right? Right.
No,
I don't think all of them were vultures. Like I don't think Tina Marie was
Exactly.
a culture vulture. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Yeah.
Tears for Fears were soulful without even, I think, realizing they were, and
Boys. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Oh, yeah. But as much as I love the music, can we keep our space hours though?
Yes.
Can we keep our? And look, I'm a metalhead. I love myself some punk, but there's a reason I don't ask you if you know anything about Dirty Rotten Imbeciles and GBI and 7 Seconds. That's why I always talk about Bad Brains and X-Ray Specs and Fishbone. What the black folks in the genre and not everybody else.
But what if they got a mixture like when your boy come in and be like,
You don't know me, but I'm your brother.
No.
"Come on, the Doobie Brothers."
McDonald, he gets an invite, right?
He
to the
gets
barbecue.
it. Come. He can come.
Cannot be
He at least gets a to-go plate. A to-go. He gets something.
He got black members in his band.
He gets something. It wasn't even his band. He came in later. Remember, he wasn't part of the
look at that.
Brothers.
That's true. That's true.
And
but still, he gets some invite.
And what about the average white band?
It's in their name. No.
It's only one white boy in there.
I don't know enough about them.
No, I'm just kidding.
I just know the name. I couldn't name you one song by the average white band.
A love of your own.
That's the average white band?
Yes.
Oh, my bad. I would not know.
I think so.
Yeah.
Sooner you get.
Yeah. So no, I think what we can do.
Come on, man.
I think
who that? Who's that?
That's Schoolboy Crush, average white band.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
I am one of those fools. Sometimes when I hear a hip hop lyric, it's for me, it's always just hip hop until I have to, I was like, we didn't do that one either. Damn. Every time I get caught there was some Duran Duran thing that Biggie did over.
Oh,
I didn't realize it was Duran Duran until maybe like 2 years ago.
Every lap you no,
I think it was Notorious.
no,
Like
Yes.
yes.
Hey, my dumb ass thinking that was like, somebody in the studios came up like Notorious. I was like,
And
oh, shit.
Duran was dope as hell. Oh my God, I love it. But I think what we can do is exactly like we can, and I think we should take all of the different influences from Black music and show how other musicians are influenced by us.
It's a teaching session. We could do that.
I mean,
Kim.
What's that?
Y'all,
Nothing with the whites. She's like nothing with
Kim is like,
the
no.
whites. You understand me?
Oh
Nothing.
my goodness.
This world is too white-centered. It's too male-centered. It's too hetero-centered. I don't think we should be amplifying centering white folks on this platform for an hour. No.
Okay, no.
We just
no
did it for 20 minutes. So.
No Elton John. All right. So we are about to get up out of here.
You need our help, ear doctor.
All right.
Our folks that we do classical breakdowns about that our people may or may not know their discography or their history, like Patrice Rushen, like Thunder Thumbs. You know what I'm saying? Niggas can very easily go find any Elton John anything, but who's going to tell our people's story? White folks got to tell their stories.
So speaking of what we got coming up, what you got coming up there, Jackie?
So today I am going off to Howard University. They are staging a walkout today.
Hey,
and Black Alliance.
Should you be announcing that ahead of time, or it's already been announced?
It's been announced.
Okay.
So yeah, good Lord, y'all. So I'm going there today. As a matter of fact, as soon as I get off of here, I'm hopping in the car and going. And then this weekend, and at this point, if they didn't know, they'll know in an hour. So, and they knew. But this weekend in the DC area, please come out to this event. Where is the address? On Sunday, April 13th, there will be a webinar that we're having a watch party for. Here at Tinley Library in Washington, D.C. Yes, that's way up in Northwest. Elon, let me know give me the correct address. But we're having a watch party for this webinar. BAP is putting on this webinar on migration, state violence, and global displacement, Sunday, April 13th, 2025. And, excuse me, I'm going to give you a link to this webinar so that you can watch from wherever you are. So there we go. That's this Sunday. That is what I will be doing. And of course, Darker Than Blue, have no idea what I'm going to be talking about. Think I'm going to talk a little bit about Margaret Thatcher and the connections to what's going on today, to her regime. And I don't know, something else.
Fun fact about Thatcher, when she died, you guys know this, but Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead charted in the UK.
For weeks. Yes. People celebrated in the street. Literally. Margaret Thatcher's death was announced. People ran out of their houses and were shouting in the streets in the UK when Margaret Thatcher died.
Which is dead.
Yeah.
Kim Brown, what you got coming up?
Dead bitch. Ding dong, the super bitch is dead. Wake up, you sleepy head. Okay, calm down.
What you got, Kim?
I got Burn It Down with Kim Brown coming back to you on this Good Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Thanks to all that turn up. We have a lot of Fire Famers in the remix crew. So thanks you all for double dipping, as it were. I appreciate the
Fire what?
Double dipping.
No,
Fire
with
Fam.
the fire.
Fire Fam.
Fire Fam.
That's
That's
just the
chat room
chat
crew.
name for your thing.
It
Fire
is.
Fam? Okay.
And it was a consensus. I allowed it.
You're like-
Other people decided, well, fuck it, whatever. I don't have nothing better.
Fire Fam. Okay.
All right,
Okay.
I'll be
Fire
doing.
Fam, we are.
Okay, I'll be doing a pop up sometime this weekend. So stay tuned for that. Kamal.
Just the conference, pushing the conference.
Mhm.
Tickets are selling. I don't watch anything, y'all, right? Yeah, tickets are selling. When I catch the Burn It Down, though, I do watch it. I watch Anne when she's on Instagram doing those melodies and stuff like that. I'll be watching her there. I'm talking about how I stalk you, like you, Kim, you. Kim,
Oh, I'm
you.
like, I think you're
Yeah.
lying though, because I don't do anything on Instagram, not really.
Yeah,
But
you do. There's those reels I saw on Instagram. You used to do with the music thing. You used to like pop out, be singing or some shit like that.
I would sing. That's correct. But I
Yeah.
do. So I'm on Twitch, by the way. Twitch BIDWKB. I didn't do a Twitch turn up yesterday. I might do one
Oh
today.
yeah, I don't know. I don't go to Twitch. So I don't have no idea, but I saw it on something else.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I see a few of them, like the little like things that go
Can be
stream.
in places she don't even realize.
Yeah, you're all over the place. So the conference is happening. People, please come on out, buy your tickets. With those tickets are picking up in terms of sales. Indianapolis Black Organizing Conference. I'm not going to say a lot right now. We're going to be doing a couple other media posts. And so we want people to spread the word that this conference is happening. It is for Black folks. You cannot bring, there is no extra food at the barbecue for anybody else. This is for us to get our stuff together, to organize, to talk through our plans, strategies for Black liberation. So yeah. I'm not flying all y'all out. Calm it down, B. I see in the chat. Tell your own organization to fly you out. What's wrong with you?
I know that's right. Big up to Minister Server, Saturday, 10 to 1 a.m. Hip Hop Bridge Builders, WRFG. Damn, did somebody just take down what I had up on the screen? All right. WRG 89.3. I'm going to stop by there and talk about the Remix Morning Show. So,
all right.
Yeah, we're going to make that happen. And also, you were right, Baraka. Yes, it's not the average white band. I was thinking about KC and the Sunshine Band.
Oh, I like KC and the Sunshine Band.
All right. With that said, we are out of here for the day. And make sure y'all tune in again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for some more Remix Morning Show, y'all. We are out of here.
Peace, y'all. Have a good one.
Peace, everybody.